You having fun yet? You and Lukey butts? You having fun, Lucas? Accompanying us on the new project? Lucas loves to be a worker bee, supporting us in spirit. Hey babe, tell me what you're doing.
Sprays with vinegar and water.
What's with your outfit?
Fiery girl. How about it?
Okay, well here we are working on the project. So I bought this boat and I bought it for $2,000. It was built in Sweden. The minute that I first stepped foot on her, I felt a calling. I felt that it was the boat had a connection, and I don't know, everything that I saw I liked. Of course there was lots of things that were bad. That's why I got it for so cheap, but it has a tiller steering. It was built in Sweden. It's a super modern design. It was built in 2003, which to me is modern. The aerodynamics of this boat are similar to a Swan, which is from the 70s and 80s, but those were actually way ahead of their time. And they were all about, like fin keels and performance. They were built in Sweden. Europeans and race enthusiasts love them. They're not so much cruiser boats, but they can definitely be. And Europeans actually prefer more of that style, more of a performance boat with a deep fin keel, a spade rudder like this has. This actually has a wing keel. That's a whole discussion of its own, but it's non-discussable that it's a very good performance feature. And anyways, today is about day 4 that I'm just working on the boat, but I know I can do a lot of justice to this boat, and so that's why I feel good. I feel that every minute that I spend working on this boat, it's increasing its value, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet, but something I can pour myself into while I'm here in Tambodo Bay in the Philippines, in the island of Negros. My other boat is over there. It's Valhalla. It's also worth mentioning that working on this boat is giving me also a wider perspective on the how could I say that? It's giving me a better perspective on different types of boats and their purposes, and so I have a better appreciation for my boat, which before I was always complaining that it's not an aggressive performer, and a little heavy, a little sluggish, just doesn't point very well into the wind. Trying to get more performance out of my boat. But then again, my boat is super duper safe and rugged and strong, and it's got a real deep keel, and there's a reason for that. You see, these fin keels, you can't put any bilge in there. But if you have a much larger area of a keel, like my boat, it's just this big bulbous keel, and it's you can really put a deep bilge. This boat hardly even has a bilge, and so that is like a big contrast to know that you don't have much bilge water area for water to go, and then to be ejected by the bilge pump once the switch gets triggered. Sometimes the switch doesn't get triggered, and that's the whole point, is that you have more space to fill up with water before your boat gets into the red zone emergency. And so things like that. Of course, these boats like these deep keel, fin keel boats are also more hazardous to go into shallow waters. I mean, and so much could be said about that. I've nearly sunk my boat on a reef, and I got out just because It was just a rugged, shallow keel boat that I could just somehow bang around and get out of that situation. Hopefully I'll never put myself in that situation again, but it saved my life, that feature. So, you know, when I first bought this boat, I was kind of dreaming I'm going to make this thing the ultimate cruiser performer, but then it's not going to be. But what I am going to do is I'm going to fix this boat up as much as I can and hopefully sail, not transact, but sail as in with the wind, and travel with it around the Philippine Islands. Get a real good feeling for all those performance design, and then I'll be able to know, is it worth it or not? Maybe I'll be so in love with the way this thing points into the wind and how fast it sails so that I can get to my destination with better ease, and maybe I'll just be in love with that extra performance and ability. Perhaps, you know, perhaps that alone gives you another layer of safety, that you can sail fast and you have a big tall rig and you can you know, I'm sure this thing's going to be lovely on the ocean, but we don't know. Maybe it's not that much of a big difference performance wise, and then I'll have even more appreciation for my boat, knowing that even these guys with these hardcore racing looking boats, they're not really gaining much, you know, in expense of losing so much safety. So and also I like this boat. It's a 38-foot boat. It was built in Sweden. It's got teak decks. I'm going to put a really light engine in there. I'm going to put a 3-cylinder 30 horsepower diesel. Hopefully I can get it from this guy for $1,000. And it's a light engine. It has a very, well, that's a pro on this boat, is that the engine layout is just super duper simplistic. The propeller shaft goes straight out the back, and you can just line up an engine in front of the shaft, put them together, align it, and you're in business. And then also the engine is right in the salon, so you're gonna I have to build a engine box for it. But then when I want to work on the engine, I just remove that box and then it's just right there. The engine is just right there, so I can maintain it lovely, and, you know, grease it down and change this and change that with more frequency and ease. Also, I love the idea of a light, not too powerful engine. You see, my boat has a 50 horsepower engine, and it also has a V drive, which means a more complex, heavy drivetrain that requires more horsepower to get it going, which is also a safety feature of my boat too, that it has that extra heft and strength in the engine to get me out of a dangerous situation. But that also can be argued, because the better sailor you are, the less of engine you need, the less you're going to put yourself in a dangerous situation. And a lot of times an engine will just simply not help you. Most of the time, once you got into a serious situation, the engine means hardly anything, if it starts up at all. So I'll learn a lot of things. I love the idea of having this boat, stripping it down, having a lot of blank canvas to work with. I'm going to strip out the interior. Let's actually take a look inside. So here we go. Let's look at this boat. Let's go. How you doing, babe?
Good.
Having fun?
Yeah.
Tell us what you're doing to the cushions.
I'm spraying the vinegar with water
So vinegar and water, and what's the idea behind that?
so that the bacteria.
That's right. Killing any type of germs on it. Okay, so let's go inside. We're working right here. I'm working on the Traveler, cleaning it up. Everything needs to be cleaned up. Let's just go inside, just take a look-see. Okay. So this is where the engine once went. The other one has a mysterious story as to why it's gone. But I don't even care. I'm going to get a new one. Well, a used one. A lighter one than the original. A less horsepower than the original. And I'm going to light it up. There's the shaft output. And it goes right there. It needs to have an engine box. This is a salon. All this wood needs to be extracted or replaced or refurbished. But a lot of it is salvageable. But I may not even want to salvage it. The headliners like that, which is also salvageable if I want to. Got to make a decision. This stuff, a lot of it is okay, but then a lot of it's bad. So I might just get rid of all of it. I might just get rid of everything I can. And then whatever I can keep, like this is a nice piece of wood I can just shine up. Kind of have a contrast, kind of like a minimalistic and also kind of some nice luxurious highlights to it too. That wouldn't be bad. So just to kind of take the best of both worlds. There's the gas tank or diesel tank, and I love how there's great access to that. On my boat is horrible access. That also has to be thought about. This guy overloaded the boat with features. He had way too much shit. He had an air conditioner. He had he had generators, he had water makers, he had all fancy type of equipment, and it backfired on him. He had a Fetus engine. Hopefully I'll be able to repurpose that panel. Here are electronics, some fried electronics, but some of it looks like it's decent. I'll put 2 batteries in. I got the bilge pump working already. He had like a fancy sound system. I'll just rip that out, but maybe I won't. I don't know. There's so many choices to make. So here's the salon. See that super shallow draft bilge? Look at that. Look at that bilge. There's nothing to it. It even, the freaking bilge pump sticks out of the floorboards, and that's just stupid. How dumb. How dumb. But that's the way, you know, those are sacrifices you have to make, because see, those are the keel bolts right there. And you just don't have room. There is no, hardly a bill. I mean, they could have put 4 or 5 more inches in here. Here's the kitchen, the galley. Let's see how much I can salvage of that. A lot of rot. Lots of rot. But hey, there's a stainless steel tank, sink right there. I'll definitely use that again. Why not? So you still have kind of the pattern is still there. The pattern of the boat I can still use. And a lot of the main wood is okay. This guy put a freaking jacuzzi in his V-berth. A jacuzzi. He's crazy. Now that's getting ripped out. See, that's where he erred, in my opinion. He let his dreams override all practical thinking. But hey, he's also did some really good things, you know, and I don't mind piggybacking on the good things that he did do. He tiled the bathroom as well. I think I'll just keep that. Why not? Still mainly there. Just have to get a couple patches. The toilet works incredibly. Some of the through holes need to be fixed, but thank God I actually have a few extra on my boat. Nice, very nice doors on here. But all the hinges are actually okay right there. Just so much work here, but also I feel like I can totally pull it off. And then it has this under the cockpit cabins, which is kind of cool. I always like that feature. There's a good amount of room in here, and it's kind of open space. I like that. And you can put a lot of gear in here. I always like the idea. See how that feels. You can really have people sleep in these under the cockpit cabins. You can have a lot of people sleeping in there. 1, 2. Then you have a person in the front. Someone else here in the galley sleeping. I mean, in the salon. And then here, let's take a look at the damage. This boat was, the reason why I even have the boat is because it changed hands rapidly at a certain point, probably around 2017. And then the owners weren't able to really take care of it. And then a big storm came by, and this boat dragged, and it ended up getting beached on its starboard side. Here you can see the worst of it right here. It got laid over on its side or something like that, you know, and it got punctured on the side somewhere, and it laid over, beached, and it broke this tow rail off, and the lifelines got damaged. Some of the stern stanchions got damaged. and the inside just got wrecked. This boat also has an electric windlass, horizontally mounted, or vertical. I don't know what that called. The axle is vertical, but the action is horizontal. So we'll see. That could be a nice feature if it works. Otherwise, I actually have another windlass on my boat, totally manual. I think I might rip off the teak. May or may not. Depends on how far I go with this. And then the rigging. Here's something that I really liked about the rigging. First of all, it already has, you know, the price I paid is already worth just this one, you know, furler in the front. The price I paid is less than a new one of those. This rig is 55 feet up in the air. It only has one spreader, but the whole rig is super modern, race oriented. It has a modern type of boom with all real slick internal reefing, you know. It has all these cool features that I've always been a little bit jealous of on other boats. It has a traveler. I never had a traveler. It has these really deep midship inset tracks, so you know this thing is going to sit point real good, especially with the keel design. And so I was attracted to that. All these winches and this cool modern design. I can see it's still okay. That's still okay. All that stuff. Everything leads. All the lines of the reefing lead to the cockpit. Okay, that's my update. This is we're aboard Nika here. This is Nika. It's currently registered in Langkawi, Malaysia, and it has that. They installed that. It's an engine mount they put on there, but it really doesn't fit this boat. And that's another thing that's really cool that I've always been a little jealous of, that people have these steps they can just open up and go and walk right into the water. I always thought that was badass. Really cool. You just get to an anchor destination, throw the back open, everybody can just be real casual, walk into the water activities, and easy access. Good for older and younger people. So that's actually, you know, so there's trade-offs. There's so many trade-offs. Okay, updates over on the boat.